Hello, I have returned. It's been almost 6 months. I did some thinking about what I was going to do, how seriously I was going to take this, and I have decided once and for all that this is going to be my source of income, my livelihood. I'm working towards that end, folks. So welcome back, and I hope you're welcoming me back into your homes, your cars, your headphones at school or on the job or wherever you may be, um, especially if you're listening to me now, because you are the people that are my core listeners. You are the people that will have been with me from the very beginning, and I want to say how much at this time that I appreciate you. So let me put it like this. Without you, there would be no video. I wouldn't be doing this video. This is all for you, and I appreciate you absolutely. And I hope you appreciate me too. So let's get right to it. This is Angela Arden and my faithful companion, Matilda, which, for those of you who are interested, is a pure red-headed pointer. And I recommend that breed. I just adore her. She is gentle and strong and with personality, plus her face is very animated, and I swear she understands exactly what I'm saying at all times. I kind of wish she could critique this. Believe me, she would if she could. She's a lot like her mom. Her fur child mama human me. So I'm just gonna have this cup of coffee like I always do. And now on to the topic. The vlog today is about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the 2022 Academy Awards. This information, by the way, comes from a very reliable source affiliated with Will Smith's PR and media team. By the way, first I am going to give you this factual information of the events as they occurred that evening and the ramifications that the Academy and different people have decided. And then I'm going to give you my take. Okay, here goes. 2022 Academy Awards Confrontation. Main article, Will Smith, Chris Rock slapping incident. During the 94th Academy Awards on March 27, 2022, Smith walked on stage and slapped presenter and comedian Chris Rock after Rock joked about Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head and a reference to the film G.I. Jane. Smith then returned to his seat and yelled to Rock twice, saying, quote, "Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth," end quote. Pinkett Smith had been diagnosed with alopecia areata in 2018 and would later shave her head due to the condition. Later in the night, Smith, and I have to give my first aside at this time, which is simply that I notice a bit of information is missing, and that was that, according to my research from many different sources, Mr. Will Smith was asked by the Academy to leave the award ceremonies upon returning to his seat after slapping Chris Rock. And as we all know, Mr. Will Smith did not leave. In fact, he received his award and he gave an acceptance speech that we'll dive into in a moment. That information was missing, and I just wanted to note that. I think that information is pertinent to a full understanding of the information about the entire evening, the factual information. And returning to this, later in the night, Smith was named Best Actor for King Richard and apologized to the Academy of Motion Pictures and the other nominees, but not to Rock in his acceptance speech. Following public backlash, Smith issued a formal apology. ABC, the Academy, and the Screen Actors Guild condemned Smith following the incident, prompting an investigation by the Academy's Board of Governors. Rock declined to press charges against Smith. According to the Los Angeles Police Department, on April 1st, 2022, Smith tendered his resignation from the Academy, writing in part, "I deprived other nominees and winners of their opportunity to celebrate and be celebrated for their extraordinary work. I am heartbroken. I want to put the focus back on those who deserve attention for their achievements and allow the Academy to get back to the incredible work it does to support creativity and artistry in film. So I am resigning from membership in the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences and will accept any further consequences the board deems appropriate." The AMPAS president, David Rubin, accepted the resignation in an official statement but said they would continue their investigation. Smith's resignation means he is no longer able to vote on Oscar nominations as a member of the Academy. Commentators have speculated that Smith's resignation from the Academy and other related fallout from the slap would damage his, quote, family brand, unquote, period. On April 8, 2022, the Academy announced its decision to ban Smith from further Oscars, galas, and associated events for a period of 10 years. Several film projects that Smith had been involved in were put on hold as a result of the controversy. In a statement to CNN, Smith stated, quote, "I accept and respect the Academy's decision." Period, end quote. Okay, wow. So, I think that hearing the factual information, I know for myself it takes me right back to that evening. And I have always found that special. I used to watch the Academy Awards with my mom when I was a kid. I lost my mom when I was 14. She left this earth and she is now in heaven, and I still feel her presence and her energy. But that was something very special, that we always made popcorn and, bought soft drinks because it was a special night, And so, because of that, I always watch, although I stream a lot of stuff, I always still to this day watch the Academy Awards on the network broadcast. So I was watching the ABC broadcast that evening. And the reason I bring that up is because a lot of people who were streaming didn't see what I saw. What I saw was the network's censor screen slide picture, whatever you want to call it. This picture came up on the broadcast, and it was like a golden yellow, and it said the Oscars on it, and it was silence. It was silent. And then they came back briefly, and I guess they thought they could come back because Will had returned to his seat. However, when they came back to show him, to put the camera on him, even though it was silent, you could see that he was yelling. You could see the sentence and the profanity in the sentence very clearly. So then the people who were broadcasting quickly, they went right back to that screen again, and then they put the camera back on Chris Rock. I had no idea what had happened. The audience it seemed like a really weird vibe, and Chris Rock had just been slapped and by Will Smith, and the camera was back on him. Chris Rock. Chris Rock is a professional, and he understood that when something goes wrong, technically or otherwise, even if it happens to involve he himself, his job is to improvise and, act as if everything is cool until things get back on track. So this is what Chris Rock said. And by the way, I don't hear a lot of people talking about what Chris Rock said, after the slap and the profane sentence that Will said to him twice. Now the camera had just come back on him after the censor plain yellow picture with the word Oscars on it, and it went back on again. It went on. They went back to Will Smith. It was silent, but you could see him mouthing this infamous now sentence that he said twice to Chris. And I say infamous because of his own apology and, tendering his resignation with the Academy, and the Academy removing him from membership for 10 years and galas. So for that reason, I use the word infamous. So then the camera comes back to then they went to the yellow screen, the yellow picture that has the word Oscars beautifully in red on it, dark burgundy, I think it was, as I recall. And then it goes to Chris. And Chris looks to me to be shocked. And his mind is probably racing, and his subconscious mind is probably, checking out, am I okay? Can I continue? How bad? Is there damage? Is it bad? As our subconscious does for our bodies as human beings. And then Chris said to the camera, I'm going to, okay. Then he says, oh, I could, okay. I think that at this point is when he realizes, okay, the camera is on me and we're moving forward, and this is probably going to be, maybe the previous, what I said, will be edited, maybe not, but I got to get back on track here. And he says, that was the greatest night in the history of television. And he gets a laugh. Then Chris Rock said something that I haven't heard anyone else really speak about that was concerning to me, actually. He said, we are here to give a documentary out, unquote. He quickly corrects himself and says to give an Oscar. And then things pretty much go on from there, back to the show. And, the whole vibe is very different and it's very serious. In fact, Amy Schumer comes out at the end and she sort of jokes about that. But to stay on my point, Chris Rock, this very professional, very, experienced host of these kinds of big shows like this, SNL, his own tours, comedy tours. And yet he says, we are here to give a documentary out. By the way Chris Rock enunciates and pronounces the word is documentary. And I do that. I do too, but I believe it can be pronounced either way. Anyway, a documentary out. And then he quickly corrected that to say and said, quote, to give an Oscar, end quote. My point is, has he seen a doctor? Has he had an X-ray or a brain scan or an EKG? I think they would do. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but these things that they do to make sure that there was no damage, or if there is damage, what the extent is, and is he okay? Is Chris Rock okay? I don't hear of anybody. I haven't heard one word on that in all of the research that I have done for this. To be informed when I speak to you about it as I am now. And I would say that, having not made one error in the entire Oscar hosting on this evening, and then to make that one error pretty much right after he was slapped by Will Smith, I think that is concerning. I think that's not a mistake that he would have made, were he buying time for something else and had not been only a moment or two previous to that slapped and unawares with his guard down by Mr. Will Smith. Now that is all of the factual information that I can provide you. What I want to talk about next is the emotional toll that has taken on all parties concerned, from Will Smith himself to his wife and his children, to those that he works for, to the people who work on his teams, his assistants, his media team, his entourage of production people, the people that count on him for their livelihood, to his extended family and friends, and his family's extended family and friends, to the public, and to you and even myself. Now, from Will Smith and his wife and family and his people that rely on him for their livelihood, pardon me, to the his production houses and any future productions that he would have done. See, these people that they were looking forward to working with him. They had counted on him. Maybe some things were written for him. They had him in mind, you see, and they have had to go to scramble to find someone else that could possibly be as good as Will Smith is. And as you recall before this earthquake of a media scandal, which is what it's turned into. It's become very public, and everyone has an opinion, which, is normal and appropriate for the shock of what the public perceived. But some of those ramifications are that people that were writing for him, that had him in mind for certain projects, they are suffering too, because, as I said, they have to find someone that is like Will Smith. And let's face it, there's no one like Will Smith. Will Smith was and is a professional, bar none, who took his craft to an extremely professional, gifted, and special, wonderful level. That's hard to just go out and find somebody else. A lot of projects, I'm sure, have been put indefinitely on hold because Will is not someone that they can reach out to or work with at this time because of the incident that is in the process of being worked out, I'm sure, as we speak. But who knows how long that will take? Will it take months? Will it take years? No one really knows. So that's all about, that's all we really know about that. We know there's a lot of heartache and disappointment in this behind the industry wall category of people, of human beings. But that's about really all we know, because it is behind the industry wall. That's really all we're privy to. And most of it we just have to wonder about. We are left wondering and, praying and hoping for a positive result for everyone concerned in that. Then there is this last category that we are very familiar with, because it is you and I. Personally, I know that when I recall seeing Will Smith walk up to that stage and slap Chris Rock, my heart sank. I couldn't believe it. I was in disbelief. But I knew, one thing I knew for sure was that Will Smith's career was never going to be the same again. This person who really, if you think about it, has brought so much joy and laughter and moments of deep contemplation and dramatic masterpieces to the cinema, will never have that sparkling, lighthearted, kind of the innocence of the teenager that he was in The Prince of Bel-Air again. And I would love to be wrong. And I think that if this is a one-time deal and somehow maybe he and Chris Rock get together and do an interview on CNN or NBC or something like that, an in-depth interview together of what went wrong, maybe with his family there and Chris Rock's family there, and maybe that could, not something on the internet or a podcast, but something like on, it would be great to have it on ABC, the channel that broadcasts the Academy Awards. Wouldn't that be something? It would at least be something. Maybe what this whole thing needs to help all of us heal. But in the meantime, you and I know, are brokenhearted. Will and his family and all the people on the other side of the industry wall of Hollywood and the entertainment industry that he has in his atmosphere, what they are going through is somewhat, other than we know it is sad and depressing, a mystery to us. But you and I, we're on the other side of the wall, and we're the other half of this equation. We are his fans, his public, and our heart is broken, and we are devastated, and we are in shock. We want Chris Rock unhurt, for that not to have happened, and we want our old Will back. But alas, this is not the case. I just want to say one last thing, which is that I remember Will Smith, the first time I ever saw him outside of A Fresh Prince, which was really good, a really good show, was a movie called 6 Degrees of Separation with Stockard Channing. I think it was in the early 90s, but I saw it on cable a couple of years later. Had I only known I would have marched my little self down to the theater and seen it in the theater. Because that's what I do when I know a movie is going to be really good. I saw Will in a whole new light in that movie. He was young and charming, of course, but he had a shyer, more intellectual, slightly introverted side to him. A thoughtful, sensitive side. And as an actor, for the first time, I really saw what he was capable of, and he shined. Later on, he was a big star in Independence Day, and the film was not too big for him. He filled those Independence Day shoes with aplomb. Wild Wild West, remember? I do. Men in Black, 1, 2, and 3. And all 3 Men in Black, which for me, the first one was the best because I got to see that chemistry between Tommy Lee Jones and he. At the beginning of the movie, you think there's no way they're going to get along. They couldn't be more opposite. And yet that is kind of exactly what makes their friendship work. By the end of Men in Black 2, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith are kind of 2 halves of the same apple, if you will. On second thought, maybe Men in Black 2 is my favorite of them. After all, I went to Universal Studios. I was in the Men in Black super secret agent building. I went up that futuristic elevator, and I saw the weapons that they used. The memory eraser and the workroom where the all the agents and the assistants were on computers. Such a cool deal. Such a cool franchise. This guy, Will Smith, is like a modern day old Hollywood movie star. His career was as big gets in Hollywood. Think of Cary Grant, Jimmy Stewart. To make my point, I'm going to read you quickly his list of movies that he has done, all of them, starting with 1992 to the present day. Where the Day Takes You, Made in America, 6 Degrees of Separation, Bad Boys, Independence Day, Men in Black, Enemy of the State, Wild Wild West, The Legend of Bagger Vance, Ali, which, by the way, we all know he was nominated for an Academy Award for that as well. Showtime, Men in Black 2, Bad Boys 2, Ride or Die, Jessie Girl, I, Robot, The Seat Filler, Saving Face, Shark Tale, Hitch, ATL, The Pursuit of Happiness, I Am Legend, Hancock, The Human Contract, The Secret Life of Bees, Lakeview Terrace, 7 Pounds, The Karate Kid, or I should say The Karate Kid, This Means War, Men in Black 3, After Earth, Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, Winter's Tale, Annie, Focus, Concussion, Suicide Squad, Collateral Beauty, Bright, Student of the Year 2, Aladdin, Dads, Gemini Man, Spies in Disguise, Bad Boys for Life, Life in a Year, King Richard, and a film that has not been released yet called Emancipation. So people out there, you might think that Will has lost so much more than us because of his gigantic career. And he has lost an awful lot. But we have lost more, temporarily, hopefully. We have lost more because we, from the silver screen, for a while, have lost Will. Maybe he will come back better, happier, and stronger. I know we all hope so. Because this vlog was such a sad one, I'm not going to say my usual slogan. I'm just going to say, be well, be safe, and take care of each other out there. Let's do this again real soon. Bye for now. If you liked this video and you'd like to see more, and this is so important to a vlogger's survival, please 1, subscribe, 2, like, and 3, hit that bell. Also, if you'd like to help Hollywood Folklore's goal of road tripping to great story destinations in Hollywood, just click on my Patreon address below, which is just www.patreon.com/HollywoodStars. And that will put you smack dab in the middle of Hollywood folklore at Patreon. Thank you for the love, and right back at ya.